also did NAGA's tournament.
I did, yeah.
Last year. Talk about that.
Yeah. I'd never done any grappling tournament at all, and I've been, since 2019, I had been like on and off practicing jujitsu until I started coming here to Yanagida's, and then it just kind of ramped up from there. Yeah. And just that also taught me like a lot of things, because you could probably attest, like when we roll, like where it's technical and it's flowy, but it's like we could go on for half an hour and not really slow down
and not even get tired.
Yeah. And so I went into this thinking like, oh yeah, I've got such good cardio, like 4-minute rounds or whatever, 4 or 5 minute rounds, like I can just go as hard as I want, and I'll be fine. But the first takedown I did, just to clarify, I've competed in the 180 to 189 division in NAGAs, and also the open weight, which was a tournament, 16-man tournament. And
I remember seeing that.
Yeah. And that first match I did in the 180 to 189, I didn't warm up. They just kind of called me up, and something happened. I don't remember what it was, but like the scheduling was off. So like I didn't have time to warm up, but I'm thinking like, oh, no problem. I'm going to crush this guy, and I go for the first takedown, and he had a really strong sprawl. Yeah. And I was like holding on to it. And then I remember thinking like, I'm tired. Yeah. Like I feel like I'm made of lead. Yeah. Like I'm having a hard time breathing. Like I've literally never felt that before. Yeah. It was so gnarly. And obviously looking back at it now, it's like, oh yeah, of course. Like, like grappling like that when you're going 100%, like it's totally different. And I just hadn't really experienced that. And he got my back and choked me out, but again, like that was a good little learning experience. And but it's funny because after that fight, or after that roll, I was so tired that I was actually like thinking of going to Justin and going like, I can't compete. Like I'm so exhausted. I literally can't. I have to drop out. That's what I was thinking. But then, the second match happened with Kalikiano, and I just said, oh, screw it. Let's just go. Let's just go. Let's just do it. And it's funny because after that first match, it's like I warmed up. And then it's like suddenly I'm like sharp now, and I'm feeling stronger and faster. And as the tournament went on, it almost did feel like I was getting stronger as it went on. It's like I got more warmed up or more used to it, and then I'm trying to think. So first match in the open weight 16-man tournament, first guy didn't show up, so I won by default. So whatever, that's a win. And then second match, I went against a guy who I think he competed in the weight class above, like 190 to 199. And I got the Ezekiel choke on him, which, and I was surprised.
Is that the one from Full Mount?
Yeah, I just got on Mount and I got that Ezekiel choke, and I'm like, I've never tried this before, but but he seems like he's struggling. I think I could go for it. And I kind of put it on, and then I heard him go, and then I'm like, okay, it's almost done. Yep. And then he taps. And I'm like, oh, whoa. Yeah. Like I submitted him. That was pretty gnarly. And that was a great match. And then my next match, I went against a guy from Romania, of all places. And he got me in a guillotine, which is my I hate guillotines so much, but he got me in one, and I had to tap. But, and I didn't even realize, but that was actually like a semifinal. That was a semifinal match. And so after that, I went into losers brackets, and I would have competed in third, but I didn't even realize that. I just kind of went back up. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm done for the day. And then I hear like, Luke Armistead to Mat 9. And I'm like, what? For what? And then
I remember that.
And then I go there. I'm like, well, what's going on? And then they're like, oh, you're next. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't have my mouth guard. I don't even know if I tied my hair. And
I think you didn't have anybody in your corner either. Like I remember seeing you compete. I was like, oh shoot, no one is on Luke's corner, so I ran. I don't know if you saw me like coming, like running towards you. I'm pretty sure you weren't. You were focused on grabbing.
It was a blur.
And then all of a sudden, I was just like, hey, Luke, like sprawl. Oh, take his leg, single leg. And I was like, dude. So that was the match that you wasn't expecting, because you placed,
Yeah,
For
I
your
got
very
third.
first, very first tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, that match, that was interesting because I went for the takedown and he had a really strong sprawl. But as opposed to my first match, I'm like, I can hold this and I can keep transitioning, try to go for a single leg and then like pull in that leg. But then when he like sprawls that out, then I go for the double leg and then just kind of go back and forth until eventually I did like stand up and like ran through and I got the takedown, and that ended up winning the match, you know.
And then, did you submit that or you won by points?
Won by points. Yeah. And I just that single takedown was enough to win the match, and I got bronze, which I'm like, oh, I got
first
third.
tournament.
That's kind of